Yeah, my name is Wayne Price. I'm a dugout canoe builder, cabin maker. Been carving since 1972, and in the year 2009, I was involved with 19 young people in Whitehorse, Yukon, that were involved with the Dugout Carving studio up there, and with some dinners and evenings of talking, we decided we'd go ahead with a project that this DVD is about. And, what we did is we took 19 young people out to an island on the Yukon River. Egg Island. It's just before Lake Labarge. It's about 25 miles north of Whitehorse. And the goal was to have no cell phones, no iPods, no computers, and no alcohol, no drugs. And we brought a red cedar log that we got from Terrace, BC. We floated it down the Yukon River. We brought the log to the island and we made a camp. And in 10 weeks of carving and living together, we paddled a 30-foot dugout canoe off that island. That's how they got home. And this is the story about that great adventure. It's an hour and a half long. And some of the things that were involved to make that happen are pretty incredible. The first of which was led to my own personal recovery from alcohol and drugs, and it's been 10 years now. And it was in the sweat lodge, and I did a series of sweats, and we did sweats, we fasted, we did some artwork, and it went that way for a couple of weeks. And at the end of that 2-week session, I had what is called a vision in the sweat lodge, and it changed my own personal life. And it was where I was given by the Creator that keeps me sober a mission to do for the rest of my life. And with the blessing and grace of my beautiful wife Sherry, keeping me together even at times when I didn't want to do this anymore. We kept it going, and it didn't happen right away. There was a lot of failure that went along with it, and the Chinook carrier told me, he said that, Wayne, your vision is so big, it's so bright. He said all dark things are going to keep belonging onto us and try to keep it from happening. And it became so true during that time, the resistance to even talk about recovery and wellness. It was a tough road. But after trying to get it to go in the southeast where the dugouts are from, on a journey to Whitehorse, I walked into the Dugout Carving studio. The young people were there. They were carving like crazy, and there were 4 of them were homeless. They all had issues. But they were all carvers. The one thing that we had in common was that we were all carvers. And we talked about it, and went on a huge fund drive, and they raised $250,000 in 3 months to support this project. And how they got that funding and secured it was, they said that in the prison system in the United States and in the Yukon, is that out here we're 10% of the population, and in the prison system we're 60% of the population of First Nation people. And each inmate in the prison system in Yukon and Alaska is $250,000 a year. So you can make a little investment on something like this, try to keep our young people from going to that place in the first place. That's what I'm all about. And this is a healing dugout. And when I was in the sweat lodge, I asked my Creator, that keeps me sober, I said, how do you make a healing dugout? and how do you make a healing totem pole? What makes it a healing one? I said, I've done lots of totems and I've done a lot of dugouts. The Creator said each chip that comes off that dugout represents a life that we've lost to alcohol and drugs. And, each chip is a broken home, is a broken family. It's a life affected by alcohol and drugs, First Nation people. And I was told I had to have felt tip pens, and anybody that had a desire to put a name on a chip, that we were to honor those chips. And then at the end of the ceremony, or end of the project, all the chips with the names on would be offered up, and all the ones that didn't have names on represent all the nameless ones that came on before us since this happened in our lives, and has had such a devastating effect. And that when my young people burned the chips from the dugout, they burned chips and they fasted for 4 days and 4 nights. And there were 19 young people I took out on that island in 2009. 9 of them are clean and sober still today. So that's almost a 50% recovery from that event. And I was told it would work by the Creator that keeps me sober. And it does work. And the cultural connection to well variety is a sure bet. If you want to get well, embrace the culture, you have to completely switch one for the other, 100%. And that's going to lead to healthy lives, and that's going to change lives, and it's going to start dealing with some of the situations that we're all having to deal with. I also did a healing totem in Whitehorse, and it addressed the residential school atrocities, the survivors, the ones that didn't survive the residential schools in the Yukon. And it was also a healing totem. And the names of all the chips were this high. All the names. When you see all the names on those chips, it was very powerful. And we offered that ceremony with that totem pole raising as well. And they burned the chips for 2 days and 2 nights straight. So, when we attend these visions, these kind of events, and bring them into our lives, then it's real. It's very real. And I've seen it work time and time again. And the support of my wife and the work that we do, we work so hard to get to that event of doing the dugout. I didn't even know what the next day was going to bring. And the only thing that we came to do is that we have to do it again. There's a lot of room for another dugout. There's room for another healing totem. So when the need arises, I'll be there to do it. And I know how to get through it now. I've made 2 healing totem poles. The other one is in Sitka on Chaponsky Island by the Search building there. That was the first healing totem. And that was for alcohol and drugs. The pole in Whitehorse is for residential schools. The Dugout Canoe is for alcohol and drugs in the Yukon. And right now, we have been working all last summer on a log that was donated by Nathan 10 years ago, which was actually the first canoe attempt, and it got put on hold. But it's last summer, with the support of the Chilkoot Indian Association, we've been able to pick up that dugout again, and it's just about ready to be steamed and spread open. And we hope to have a tribal journey from the village of Deshu to Celebration next summer with a 28-foot dugout, and a little 18-foot dugout that I just finished. And hopefully we'll bring the dugout from Whitehorse and come down and join us. I know Pucklin has a dugout as well. These tribal journeys where the pledge is to be alcohol and drug free during that time really has a powerful effect on all of us. I think all of us have a spark inside. All we have to do is wake it up, and it'll come out. That spirit is there. We just have to wake it up, and we have to share it. These things are very, very, very powerful. And it's very real. The DVD is an hour and a half, so it's well done, well documented. And I'll give a talk and answer some questions and stuff after it's all over. I'm glad you're all here to join me. I recognize some faces, some new ones. And, we're all in this together. And the one thing about projects like this, I tell you, it has to have support. This is what I do for my life, and I have bills like everyone else. It takes that kind of support. It's an investment in wellness that you can see our children grow up away from this huge hole that we all have in our lives. When I did these totem poles, I could go like this, and every person I put my hand on their shoulder had somebody that was involved with alcohol and drugs. Everybody knows somebody. So what this does is going to tell a story about how it actually went right one time. And at the end of the sweat lodge, when I was all done, the Creator said, when you hear the songs of your ancestors coming across the water sung by your people, you have completed your journey. And when the kids paddled off the island, they were singing a song. And I turned to my wife and said, I've lived to see my vision complete. It took 77 years at that time of trial after trial after trial. Not making it happen. Well, in 2009, on an island on the Yukon River, it happened. I wanted to share this story with all of you in the hopes that we talk, we find a place, we get that log there, we do it again, because it works. Thank you.
Great. Could you introduce your wife, please?
Oh yeah, I'm going to have my wife stand up. It's my wife, Sherry. And another great addition is Dave Jensen, who's chief in Ketchikan, has graced us with a tattoo. This is about 300 years old. It's a Raven dog set in hat. It's going to watch the movie with us. And this is the paddle. This is my paddle that I made in 2005. When I was in the sweat lodge, I asked, what is my spirit helper? And the wind in the lodge blew my hair like that. So it's wind spirit is my helper. And that's what the design is. And this paddle is in all my journeys that I use. With that, let's kill the lights and let's watch this. Thank you. That was 2009. The 19 young people I took out there, 9 of them are still feeling sober today. Changed their lives from this event. Should we do it again? Yes, we should. Can I do it again? Yes, I can. It's a 28-foot dugout. Just getting ready to be steamed in Haynes right now. Nathan had donated the log, and I proposed the idea to him 10 years ago. And, this is how you come back. This is how we get it back. There's people on this coast, people of the ocean. It's our home. And, the crafts that you see being built, dugouts being done, had a code of honor and respect. Of all the old dugouts that you see in all the pictures, there wasn't one bad one. They were all well done, immaculate, well taken care of ships. There could be 50 or 60 in a village, you know. So, I know there's only a handful of us that actually can take a log and turn it into a dugout now. So Nathan has done so. And Dave Jensen, he helps on the dugout. And then the young people that are stepping up now. One young man, Justin, he came down from Whitehorse and helped down the 28-footer on the carving deck. The hardest thing is getting proper support. It's always a struggle. But this is evidence that it really works. And, it really does. It was a wonderful experience. And, you know, it needs to be supported. It needs to be done. We're trying some different things. You know, we found a tree on Sullivan Island, and we're trying to get support and backing to take a group from Haines or from southeast out to the island, carve a spruce dugout. You know, so as long as I can keep pulling this off, I'm going to keep on doing it. It's sure a lot more fun than a hangover. You know, turn our backs away. We were never part of that. Make the change. I did. I have no regrets to this living, breathing moment I'm living right now. It's a lot more fun. And, it's a lot more fun when I can make that change with young people or anybody. And this is the doorway. This is how we can do it. We have those tribal journeys down the coast. Representations from the Tlingit, not been that many, and we hope to get the support and to take these tribal journeys next summer and meet with all the other tribes that are doing their dugouts and their success, because they know it works. I caught the end of one tribal journey before I did this one out on Big Island, and that was 3,000 alcohol and drug-free young people on that tribal journey. It's very, very powerful, and we have to do more of that. This is the vessel that can do it, and there's a few of us that are out there that can make it happen. So, community heals community every time, just like I said in the DVDs. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to.
I just wanted to say thank you very much. But to me, watching this movie, how you guys pack the log in, it reminds me of a kohi. And when you carry the berries in, you give it to your strongest men to carry it in, and it's filled, and it's heavy. The reason why you do that is because you're emptying and giving away your sorrows, and the opposite is eating the berries and taking away your sorrows. And while you're digging out the canoe, all the sorrow and all the love was there. So it's like a kui when you dug that canoe and you gave it spirit and you gave everybody else spirit. And I want to thank you very much. It was a very, very, very strong movie. Cheese.
Anybody else? Questions? Yes.
I just have a comment. Wayne, I've known you for a short time, but yet a long time too. And every time I see this video, it just gives me strength. And I want the room to know that this man is saving lives. And that's all of our responsibility. Us men in the room, the guys that are my age, the guys that are older and younger, the women in this thing, we all have this responsibility to save a life. Not one should get left behind. Thank you for the vision. Thank you for the strength.
Thank you for all for being here. Yes?
Well, I suppose that from the time that I got involved with art that I knew you would do good. And one of the areas that I feel that was really pretty important in amongst our people, realizing that wood becomes a very important resource. And for the wood itself, sometimes is very hard to get. And as you can see, the experience that they've gone through with all the work, and then all of a sudden it kind of breaks open. In being able to get logs was very difficult, and it still is. And I kind of think that logs, for instance, that are going to Asia, there should be some logs that we can be able to utilize. And it's pretty hard. You know, I went to see Alaska to try to get a log, marked out a log, and actually filled out the papers and stuff. And found that that to me was one of those areas that somebody told me once, my uncle told me, he says, when the Hawaiians wanted 2 logs, he said to the person from Hawaii, he said, don't go to the board. And so the next option for me in looking at doing a canoe was maybe going out and doing it myself. And it's hard. It's not easy. You have people looking around and trying to search for a log is not an easy thing at all. And for being able to encourage Wayne or anybody else that is doing this, that the log itself has to be sound all the way through. And there might be an area where it's going to fall, and if it falls up against the mountain, that would be best because there isn't very much cracks that will occur in the log. And so when those starting cracks, my canoe, the one that I did, was only 27 feet. And when I was going through this whole experience, I didn't have any experience at all in doing a canoe. And one of the things that you do is you think about how they were able to do it, how they managed to do all this stuff. And you try to take shortcuts. That doesn't work. As it turns out, on this one particular project, there was only 2 guys that worked on it. That was me and another fellow. The other fellow ended up having a girlfriend, and I'd call him up, and he says, I'll be right there. And he wouldn't be there at all during the day. And so the following day, same thing. The following day, the same thing. And so to be able to get somebody that is dedicated as being able to isolate the fellows like Wayne has done, to me was pretty interesting. Young fellows that probably were having issues, having problems, alcoholism. And so, as he had said, that he is saving lives and putting them on a new direction and having them work with your hands. And once you work with your hands, you begin to realize that, hey, this can be done. This can be done. And I thank you very much, Wayne, for all that you've done in times past. And I'm on the horizon. Okay? And you know who the people are that can be able to continue this type of work. And I just wanted to say that and just thank you very much publicly. And so that's all I got to say.
Mr. Chief. I'm from Angoon, I'm from the Brown Bear House. And I look at this beautiful hat that's sitting up here. It's Street 80. That's my Dugout Canoe Carving. So I offer my bear hat to sit with it in spirit, to strengthen it. Because what you've done, Wayne, is you have opened up a portal. You have opened up a door that not only shows people by example, but it gives them a tool to work with. I've been treating sober for 22 years in December, and I know the journey, and I know the struggle with political politics and everything else. And I sat here and wept when they both cracked, you know. But I've seen the fortitude that you brought these children. And what you taught them is they'll never be taken away from them. Even if they do fall, it still allows them to stand back up again. Because even in every journey that we take, we fall. And I myself believe you have 100% success rate. I don't count the other 10 that went out. As failures, I count them as leaders. Because they have a tool now that they can use in their toolbox. And I heard a lot about you, Wayne. I've never met you personally. And my deepest respect goes out to you. You know? And I just want to thank all the Ravens that are standing here. And I couldn't ignore my ancestors sitting up here. And I thank you for bringing it out. Because it strengthens us. You know, when we bring out hats, it's like we said, they're watching. You know, they say, Atliko hasa, kish hasa, kak hasa, Wudihan husu, Wudihan husu. There's no empty chairs amongst us. They're all standing here with us, our ancestors, our grandfather's people, our father's people, our uncle's people, our mother's people, our aunt's people. They're all here. Wudihan husu. They're watching. They're standing here with you. When you brought out that hat, it brought them forward. It invited them forward. And to balance it, I brought out my bear hat so that it would strengthen them. And I call on my ancestors to run ahead of you and beat down the shore so that it's smooth and you don't stumble in your quest that you have in front of you. And I myself would love to have a copy of this and use it as a training tool. And I'd purchase it. And that'd be a good way to raise money for yourself to alleviate some of the expenses, because this is a powerful tool. I've worked with kids for 2 years in Zontahiri Middle School. And I've been on answer camps that I've taught in answer camps for 2 years. 19 children, 4 sessions. Nothing like this was this that's powerful. And I thank you again for your teaching.
There is copies of this for sale. I don't have the website off the top of my head, but I'll get that information. I'll make sure we leave it with, at the front here. And $20 for the DVD. And use it on the NCES, which is the Northern Cultural Expression Society, is formerly known as Sundog. They're still going. They got a whole new group now, and all the young people that they just dug out are teaching. Some of my worst students that I had out there are the strongest advocates, and when the young people hear from young people within the schools. that more powerful than anything. So
That's the bear. Right there.
And the trees,
The bear hat. It's a Canadian Indian Texacan. And there were 12 others that were it before me. And I've worked with Wayne since the 1900s. We've moved multiple tons of cedar.
yeah,
And it's amazing what you can do when you just bear down and do it. Just, you know, if you're not going to help, get out of the way. And so that isn't what Wayne's here to say to you, but just don't let anybody get in his way. And I'm looking forward to doing some more chopping.
Jerry.
I know his name. He's a good guy. And we work before. The small things. He helped with some carving for my son, which was very important. And this really means a lot to me. So, from what we were working on, was 27-inch canoes to what he does now, is really nice. So, I'm really proud of him because I saw him grow up and was able to see all the struggles he had. And I tried to stand by him when he had problems. And he's been standing by me quite a lot. Ms. Chief.
thank you very much. Yes.
I don't quite know how to thank you for the work you're doing. I'm an outsider, I'm from India. And what you did, you not only lifted the spirit of the community, but you also reclaimed the knowledge of the community. That we have to do, and we have to do more and more. I'm working in India with boat builders who are very poor and they also build things by hand. There is so much human intelligence and they are neglecting it. And you are a living proof of doing that. So thank you so much.
Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, I just have to get up and speak and say how proud I am of Wayne. I live in Haines and we used to have a drumming session. And what did we call it?
North Tide.
Rip time.
The North Tide.
North time.
Yeah.
And it was made up of my husband and I. We used to go there and drum. We all drummed. And they even had drums for everybody to use. And my grandkids were there. So he's been working to help further alcoholism and drug use and everything. And I've been clean and sober, 28 years maybe. But to see Wayne do this in our community, and I wanted us to help as A&S to do some fundraising, but I haven't got into it yet. But I just want to thank you, Wayne, and it means a lot to our community and to me.
Thank you very much. There's a lot more work to do. Yes.
Every time when I go over to Wayne and Sherry's house, it's always open hands and warm heart. And every time when I go there, man, I always just give him the biggest hug ever because I love him that much. You know, every time when I go there, I'm always, learning something new every day. And every time I'm feeling bad and, sad, I always go to them or any other of my relatives. But every time I go there, I'm always feeling that love, that respect. When I worked on that dugout canoe, man, it was so awesome. I mean, it just opened my heart just made me want to keep on going and going and going. And when I left Haynes, I felt like I left myself there. And then when I asked Wayne to draw me a design, he did. And I loved it, and I'm still working on it. And I'm working on another one right now. I'm working on one for my friend. And I just want to say, kind of, sheesh, with all love and respect. It's this is amazing, going to their house, working, having fun. And there's always something there good to eat too.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all of you for attending and spread the story, spread it around. Generic support. Find us, call us, we set it up. Not afraid to go anywhere on the right road. Teach young people and old a better way to go. Let's go build a ship and try it out. Thank you very much.